Westworld is back and Nerd Soup has got you covered. Hello and welcome to the Nerd Soup podcast, a special Westworld edition. I am Aaron, the Nerd Soup Monkey, along with some very special guests. We got the handsome and talented Bo Oliver. How you doing today, Bo?
Good. Doing well.
All right. Nice and cut it right to the point.
Sound like you're doing like a telephone.
And we're with Teddy.
What's poppin'?
What's poppin'? Nothing much, Ted. What's poppin' with you?
Not much, too. Just got to work.
All right, cool. Save it for
I'm a little dirty.
Yeah, save it for when we're not on the mics. We'll talk about that later. You can tell me about your day. You know what's got you down in the dumps.
Next time, just skip me.
Well, we got to let the people know that you're with us, and we got a newcomer today. Welcome to Nerd Soup, Nash. How are you today, Nash?
Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Good. Your first time. Well, we have recorded together before, but they just never made the cut. So hopefully, this one.
Is this an audition? Is this a tryout?
You ever see the Parks and Rec when Ben Wyatt is going for the job interview with Feinstein?
Yes.
And the person whose job he's taking is in the room? It's like that, but Teddy. You're auditioning for Teddy's job.
Oh, okay.
So,
why?
I don't know. I don't make these decisions, but.
It sounds like you are.
Yeah, we'll just bring your A game today, Ted, and we don't have to, there's no discussion.
Fine.
No pressure, man. Don't worry about it.
I'm not threatened.
I'm just staring at him.
Yeah, you are.
I am lurking him down.
The way you're positioned right now, it's like you're his shadow.
I'm not threatened.
So, like we said, Westworld is back, and the internet has no idea what's going on, true to Westworld form, but that's what we're here for. Feels great. Appointment television, Sunday at 9 p.m. You know where you're going to be, right in front of your TV, and I just can't wait to talk about it. I think Bo did a great job on the channel, if you want to check it out, of breaking down episode 1 of season 2, and we're just going to discuss it, go over some theories that we have, talk about the episode, what we felt, and what we would like to see moving forward. Quick note, if you want to listen to us on iTunes, we're the Nerd Soup Podcast, and we also have a SoundCloud link in the description. All right, so let's get into it. So what were you guys' overall thoughts on the episode?
I thought it was well done. It did a good job of tying into last season. A lot of people had a lot of problems with that because they think it's just the same thing as last season, but it has to be. It's the first episode of the next season. Like, you got to try and tie it in. You got to set the tone. It's going to be slow going at first, obviously, but people keep saying how it's just so like blah and it's all familiar and the same shit. It's like, I don't know what else you want them to do. It's such a big show, and you got to at least tie it in.
Yeah, season 1 ended with such a big cliffhanger, and the fact is we don't know where all the time periods are taking place. Obviously, there are some where it's the aftermath of the Delos massacre. But yeah, I agree with that. It's a continuation. It's basically just season 1.2, where you have to pick up right after where season 1 ended because it ended on such a big cliffhanger where it felt like season 1 could have been a contained show where that's where you can end it and just stop it there and never do a season 2. But yeah, I agree with you. I thought season 1 started off very slow as well. You go back and you look at the pilot episode. It's a very slow episode. I thought this one was a little bit quicker, a little bit longer than the first episode for season 1. It's about an hour and 10 minutes. But overall, I thought you made a good point on Twitter that you said it had a dark ambiance. And I think everything from the way it was shot to the music, it felt like a nightmare. Like everybody was kind of waking up from the Delos massacre thinking, what have we gotten ourselves into? How do we fix this problem? And I think that's what season 2 is going to be. It's going to be pulling back the curtain on those missing 11 days that appears to be there. And I loved the first episode. I thought it was a great reintroduction to the world.
What do you think, Nash?
I was confused as hell. I mean, it's, the first episode, it just bangs right into, you see all hosts and humans just dead, and you just don't know what's going on. I mean, I thought the episode was great, but you could definitely see that this season is going to be, you could see that it's going through Bernard's timeline. He's trying to figure out what's going on. You see him, like, malfunction and stuff, and you see that that's probably going to be a recurring problem throughout the season, but, oh, man, and how good was Dolores or Wyatt,
Yeah.
Oh, that scene when she had like the 3 humans like lynched. Oh man,
is she Wyatt now? Is that her name now?
We'll get into that. We'll break down the characters because that's one of I think the most interesting points of the season is her conflict between Dolores and Wyatt. Yeah, but for the episode, I thought it was an okay episode. I mean, I think a lot of people had a lot of higher expectations because of the way season 1 ended, but I thought it did a good job of setting up what's to come. I'm more excited to see, like, at the end when they showed the clips for the season to come. That got me very excited for that. I thought it was a good episode just to set up where we are now, and I think what's to come is going to ultimately be the best point of season 2. I wasn't expecting right off the bat to just, have that same feeling of last season where the last 4 episodes were just fantastic and had you you weren't expecting what's coming next and all those shocks and surprises. So
I don't get how anyone criticizes that first episode. It's
was
so
great.
mind-boggling.
I thought it was much better than
it.
the first episode for
Me
season
too.
1.
Well, the thing is, with season 1, it was setting up like this new world, and I was just so interested in the little things, walking through the town, interactions with the host, and the world, the park they build. And this one, everything is, it's kind of, they're trying to, I guess, in some timelines, move past what the Delos massacre. And in the other ones, the futuristic ones with Bernard, he's trying to remember what happened. So we're not really clear on what's going on so far yet, but I think it did a good job of trying to build that mystery and, have the audience thinking what's going to happen next.
But for season 1, I feel like when you go back and you watch the pilot, it's better after you've seen the entire season, because you can pick up on the small things and think, oh, they were foreshadowing that here, they were talking about that in this scene. And I feel like in season 2, we're going to look back on this first episode, and we're going to watch it with such clear heads.
Yeah.
We're going to know everything that they were hinting at, they were talking about, that they were foreshadowing.
And I think there were a lot of little hints in there, too.
Didn't it feel more brutal than season 1?
Well, I always said that I wanted season 2 to be the aliens to the season 1 Alien, where you can't really repeat that same like mystery and all the different themes they touched upon in season 1, that you kind of have to reinvent season 2. And right off the bat, there's a couple sequences in there that are pretty like action packed and brutal. And I loved it. I was all for it.
Even Bernard waking up on the beach and he's kind of confused and dazed, and he's seeing all the hosts being executed as he's walking. And just the music, I thought the music was the standout for this episode. The bwongs. I'm not usually a big bwong guy, but it's a Hans Zimmer, Christopher Nolan trope. Jonathan Nolan is the showrunner. But yeah, what you said stuck with me when you said it had a dark ambiance to it. That's, I feel, is the perfect description.
The scene with Dolores riding on the horse and like that cheerful music playing, and she's just gunning down 4 humans.
Yeah, well, let's get into that. We'll start with, I guess, Dolores' storyline through the episode. It's pretty much, it's taken part, right after the massacre? For the most part?
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
It's her and Teddy, because we see Teddy at the end, so I think it's before the events of...
It's right, I think it's right after the massacre. Is that what you
but
said?
before Bernard's like waking up, his timeline
right.
there.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's...
Like the morning of.
Yeah, I would say so. And that scene when has the, I guess there were Delos board members, like with the nooses around their neck. I think that was one of the standout scenes of this episode. And we got to see that like conflict within her between Dolores and Wyatt. I'd like to see what you guys think, because with Dolores, the character, like through season 1, we were waiting for her to finish the maze and gain consciousness. But at the same time, if you're fighting between 2 personalities that were given to you by Ford, is that really your own person though? Or is it still Ford's influence within Dolores? Like, can she ever be sentient or her own character because of the emotions and the attributes given to her by Ford?
Well, she's free thinking now. She's picking which one she wants to do.
But it's between 2 preset. It's Dolores Abernathy and Wyatt.
It also depends on what you think conscious is. Like, if you think conscious is making your own decisions and free thinking, then that's what being alive is. But I don't think she's struggling between 2 characters anymore. I think she's taken on full Wyatt now.
I think that Ford has given her a conscience to survive. Like, that is her conscience. So she has to turn into Wyatt. I think that was Ford's plan throughout, for her to turn into this person, and he knew how this outbreak would happen, because I think that's a part of his quote-unquote narrative, his last story.
Right, Journey into Night.
Yes. So I think that is her being conscious, that he made her that way so she can survive.
But you said Ford made her that way, so is it really her?
Well, I think it's just like the illusion of choice. You're talking about that it's basically the theme of duality, that she has these 2 competing personalities pulling her in either direction. But you can make the decision that's in every human being alive. There's so many things that are predetermined for an individual that you don't get to choose certain things. It's nature, nurture, combination of both. That's what they talk about in Ex Machina. But she says in season 1, where Bernard gives her the choice, you can basically be free, conscious, or you can be safe. And safe is Dolores, who sees the beauty in the world, and consciousness is Wyatt, that she's been given the choice to either be Wyatt or be safe. And she says there aren't 2 versions of herself, there's only one, and when she discovers that one, she'll be free. So you could still have the argument, is she truly, does she have free will? Is she making these decisions on her own? I think she is, and I think she's leaning more towards Wyatt, because that's the role that was presented to her, and it's the role that she has chosen.
I wonder if she's liking it, though. Like, I wonder if she's keeping it because she likes it too, though.
I think she is because of that scene when she has the 3 humans lynched on the tree. I mean, she touches on it slightly, how she says, "Oh, the former girl Dolores," and then she wouldn't, do this and that, and then she talks about Wyatt doing this and that. You humans made us basically your toys that you could just go around and kill us, and now we're conscious, and now we're gonna take you out.
Yeah, it's
I
almost
think she chose Wyatt.
But they are toys. They're not real.
Ooh.
Yeah, but that's also one of the other themes of the episode. What's real, what's not.
Yeah.
The first scene, Arnold defines real as something that's irreplaceable. And then it goes to Maeve, just to jump to Maeve real quick, when Sizemore tells her, why would you want to go back and save your daughter? That's not real. That's something that we gave you. That's like saying to an adoptive parent, this is what I said in my review, that your relationship with your kid is not real because you adopted her, because you chose to be her parent. This is the choice. This is that illusion of free will. Yes, you were given a daughter, and now Maeve has the choice. You can either be on your own or you can embrace motherhood. That's the choice that you are given. That is your free will after some narrative is already set up for you. So to say that they're not real,
all right.
when Maeve threatens Sizemore, she's like, are my fingers real that are on the trigger of this gun? I'm about to kill you. Would that be real?
I'll go back on what I said then. I didn't mean to say not real.
Way to have
All right.
conviction, Ted.
No, I'm not saying that not real. I'm just saying we did make you as toys. Now you're conscious, and okay, now you're going crazy now. But don't make it seem like we're the bad guys because.
Well, I have a question too. Dolores, we can agree or disagree if she's conscious or not. I think she is, and she's taking up this role as Wyatt. Are the other hosts being programmed to kill?
Just gonna ask that too.
Because they can't all be conscious, right? Because
I
Ford
think
said
Teddy-
in season 1 that not all of them become conscious. Some of them do, and then we basically decommission them. But all the other hosts seem to be under Ford's control in terms of them being allowed to shoot at humans now.
I think the definite is Teddy because we see him have flashbacks in season 1. So
Right.
I think he might have it. I'm not sure if Hector. I think he's
Right,
just-
yeah, that's what I was thinking
I think
too.
I think it could be Ford maybe put in like a new update saying that like if Dolores chooses Wyatt, like you follow her.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that they're not, all the hosts aren't conscious.
No, I don't think
like
so.
Clementine.
No, yeah,
or-
because because some are still going with the same role.
Exactly, right, the stable boy.
It's interesting. And I also think, if you guys, do you like the change in Dolores? Because I feel like why I liked her in season 1 was she had that innocence to her. But when they go to Pariah, you kind of get that other side of her where it's not quite Wyatt-y, but she's
not that farm girl anymore.
Yeah, she's not the farm girl, but she's not, because I would say the Wyatt character is inherently evil.
Well, it's
And I'm not
depends on your
sure-
perspective.
I'm not sure if I'm on board with that as, like,
Well, the scene between her and Teddy when she talks about humans as things that walk among us, it's cool to hear that from her perspective where she thinks that humans are inferior. Humans are the thing that have been manufactured for our pleasure rather than it being the other way around.
Because
kinda
they
like-
thought we were gods, though. That's the thing.
But Teddy
they weren't
says,
impressed when they find out who
They
they
were
were.
not impressed.
But it's kind of like Ex Machina when she finally leaves. Well, spoilers for Ex Machina, but it's been out for a couple of years. You're rooting for her the whole time, and then when she finally leaves and leaves Domhnall Gleeson's character locked away, you're kind of like, oh, well, that's kind of a dick move. Like, you're kind of rooting for her to leave, and when she finally does make her own decisions and becomes that, have free will, she kind of
well, she
disappoints you in the
manipulated
end.
him
Yeah.
just through her sexuality. She had no interest in it.
I know, but the whole time you're rooting for her, then you realize, like, she might,
Right, but she's not an evil character, and I don't think Dolores, you could say, is evil either, because Teddy says, why don't we just carve out a piece of this land and we'll live together on our own? And Dolores is like, that's illogical because they're going to come and fucking murder us. The only way that we can survive as a people is if we not only take over this world, but we have to go and take over Earth. Like, if that's just survival. And she has that conversation where she's talking to one of the Delos board members, and she asks her, what's your cornerstone? And she's like, please, just let me go. And she's like, oh, survival. That's the most natural thing that the host can feel in terms of being human. As soon as you get life, you'll do anything you want to keep it.
Dolores she's reacting to human emotions immediately. That's what makes me also think that she's conscious.
She is at this point, but I'm saying her predetermined attributes were from Ford.
No, but she's choosing the Wyatt role.
I have a question for you guys, not to go off topic, but speaking about the human emotions, when Bernard starts tweaking out and having that malfunction or whatever, is it more of a malfunction or is that just a human element that people see as being him being nervous, you see him shaking and everything? Do you see that more as a human emotion that's seen as a deficiency in actual humans compared to the robot having a malfunction, corruption or whatever?
Right, well, there's something going on with his motor functions. That's
Yeah.
what he's leaking the cerebral spinal fluid.
Right.
And then he takes it from the other one and he injects it in his head. I think that was like, it's almost like a trigger when you see Bernard waking up and his hand starts to twitch, and then it goes into the past when it's him and Hale after the massacre.
Yeah.
So it's like that started after the massacre where he's almost having PTSD or he's having trouble with his motor functions because the show creators have said the hosts are basically biological. They're more biological than they are mechanical. So they are going to have similar deficiencies to human beings, that they can have problems with their motor neurons, and they can have these twitches and different malfunctions. But we also see their brains where they're essentially, you can just pop them in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's benefits and deficiencies to being a host. And it seems that they're pretty biological, like you said, that they have these twitches and malfunctions.
Let's go back to Dolores real quick. We'll finish her up, then we'll head to Bernard, because I think he had a great storyline too. He's the most intriguing. I feel like he might be the main focus of the season. Yeah, so I think Dolores, I mean, I'm interested to see where her character goes. If she doesn't fully embrace the Wyatt side, or is she going to have some of that old Dolores Abernathy, the farmer's daughter, come back to her? And that was a pretty nice monologue she gave.
How good is Evan Rachel Wood?
Yeah, a little on the nose with that last. Doesn't look like anything to me.
I saw people complaining about that. That
That
was
was
a little too cute.
Straight to the audience, because no one around her would know what that means, like who she's talking to. That means nothing to anyone except for the audience.
Yeah.
It's a small little nitpick.
It's her mocking the creators almost, saying, "Oh, you wanted us to ignore certain things that would cause us pain. Well, here you go."
Even though no one's around to hear it.
Well, Teddy saw season 1. It's like, "Oh, that's the thing that we used to say."
Not you, Teddy.
Yeah.
The cool Teddy.
Who?
Flood.
Oh.
You gotta admit he's cooler than you are.
No. I'm so happy his name's Teddy.
You're like a little kid.
Do you guys think Teddy is going to back out of what Dolores is doing?
Oh, yeah, we get into Teddy, too, because he's only really in Dolores' storyline until the end of Bernard's.
Well, yeah, he's the one questioning Dolores, saying, "Do you really want
She's
to
going
do
to clap
this?"
him. I think she's going to clap Teddy.
Well, she has a line that, "I've seen the end of this story. It ends with you and me," so I don't think she'll kill him.
I think if you push her, she will.
But I think he's starting to freak out a little bit. Well, he was freaking out in season 1 when he would remember Wyatt and he would remember his role in it. It was one of his biggest regrets in terms of his past life. And even when she does it, when she kills Arnold in season 1, you could see Teddy. He's like, "What the hell is going on here?" And then
He says, "Why am I doing this?"
Yeah, and then Dolores turns the gun on him. So maybe she will kill him. I don't know.
Well, at the end of the episode, Bernard starts to see, all the hosts in the sea, and he's actually one of the faces that you see towards the end. And
That's debatable. Is it? Or unless it's,
No,
is it-
it's Teddy.
is it him?
that's and I mean, Bernard does turn around and say he killed everybody. He killed. Now, who was he? But I mean,
No, he says I.
I thought he said
killed
he
him.
at first too, but it's I.
it's I. So
Yeah.
he said I killed everybody.
I think that is. I had a theory about this on my review that it's basically just a decoy plan. That Bernard. My theory about Bernard, if we want to get into Bernard.
Yeah,
Keep plugging your theories, okay?
Well, I didn't put this in my review, but my new theory about Bernard
and
is
now
that
I am.
I have a couple of theories. My most far-fetched theory is that everything we see with Bernard is not actually happening in the moment, but it's Bernard reliving it through. Remember when he went and searched through his memories in season 1 when he goes back to the memory with his son and the first time he ever met Ford? He was essentially able to move and maneuver throughout those memories. He could interact with the people within them, even when he goes back to a night where he slept with Teresa. So I think there could be a possibility that everything we see with Bernard is him, in terms of the present timeline, is him just reliving it. He's just
Kind of
remembering.
like Dolores reliving her.
Right,
Just
yeah.
the way they
That's
edit
why you
it.
keep seeing these random glitches where he's in the control room and he's shooting people up, or he's with Peter Abernathy. It could be that, or it also could be that it's just a decoy for Dolores to escape, where it goes back to Arnold's dream in the beginning of the episode, where he's like, "I had a dream that you and the hosts were on a faraway shore, and I was on a beach with the water rising around me."
I guess
That it could basically be, Dolores says that she can remember all of her memories now, so it's a metaphor for Dolores was able to escape because they think Bernard took care of all the hosts, including Teddy and Dolores, but really the real Teddy and Dolores, because you could just take out Teddy's brain, put it in a new body, they're in the real world. So that final scene of the first episode could be the last scene of the season.
My theory is, and it might be a little out there, because they do mention when Bernard's with Hale in the Delos hideout or whatever,
Yeah.
bunker.
that the hosts connect to each other. What do they call it?
The mesh network.
The mesh network. And I'm wondering if they're able to transmit memories and things like that to each other, because I would think that maybe Dolores is, because you said in your review that Bernard can't remember the conversations he had while he was Arnold. I'm thinking maybe if Dolores can some way transfer that to Bernard, so that memory of her and Arnold to Bernard, and the same with maybe those flashes back that he's having are given to him by Dolores as a way of maybe trying to trick him into thinking he did something that he can't remember, or maybe she's implanting memories to him that he doesn't understand or know. Somehow they're connected, and she's kind of manipulating Bernard through that web.
Yeah, there's scenes between her and Dolores where it looks like they're in a city. But they're definitely going to meet after the Delos massacre and before Bernard in the first scene of the first episode. It's just a question of what are those meetings going to entail? What does Dolores have? What are her intentions with Bernard? Because Ford says in season 1 that he had to keep them separate because they always acted weird around each other. But that's a pretty good theory, that she'll basically implant the memories of Arnold that she has, because she obviously only knew him for a couple months.
So that's an interesting development. I don't think you just drop that in as a way to kind of find where Peter Abernathy is, or as a way for Bernard to buy some time.
That seems like it's going to be more important than just finding Peter Abernathy, which is a Delos thing. Yeah. It's not a Dolores and Bernard.
Yeah, I pretty much figured out season 2. There's no point for me.
No,
to
I already guessed. I mean, my theory.
Is this theory time?
Oh yeah.
Is it a Bernard theory or?
Yeah.
Okay.
My theory is that everything did happen the way we saw it in season 1, but Dolores tampered with Bernard to make him kill all the hosts, and she bounced, and then he ended up rebooting himself and knocking out for 11 days on the shore, and he did see her sail away to the next park, and that's where we're going to see Dolores again.
So it's similar to my theory.
It's a little similar to mine.
He basically manipulated Bernard into killing the hosts. Yeah, it's I saw somebody describe it as, what Hans Gruber does in Die Hard, that he was basically going to fake his death, basically do a giant suicide bombing so that he could escape. It's an interesting idea. I mean, it's so hard to pinpoint where this second season is going.
You got any theories, Nish?
I think something, when you see at the trailer at the end, you see Maeve, as you saw in season 1 with the samurai, and you see her dressed up as a samurai. I think with the sea, that is going to be the sea to get to that world or whatever that is.
So you think they're going to have to go through like the different parks to get to the real world?
Try and find Dolores.
That would be fucking... I can't wait.
Yeah.
Dolores is camping out
I think
somewhere,
there's going to be more parks. I mean...
Oh, well, they
6.
said confirmed 6 with the Bengal tiger. Where do you think that...
Jungle Park?
Yeah, it's got to be like somewhere in Asia, right?
Yeah.
Or some like an Indian themed park. That's where they are, according to Google, when I Googled it. There's none of them in you're not going to get South America Park, Bengal tigers. That's interesting that the hosts in Westworld are off their loops, but the hosts in the other parks are off their loops as well. So we might see hosts from Westworld go to Shogun World. That was teased with Maeve, which I can't fucking wait to see. That whole episode is going to be in Japanese with subtitles. And then there could be Roman World from the movie Future World. So if they have to go through all the parks to get to the real world, that would be
real quick.
So cool.
Future World is fucking stupid because you can't. Where are they going to get future?
Yeah, but that was
tech?
the 1970s. So I don't think it. I agree with you. It doesn't work now because Future World is just the world.
Yeah, and it's not like you
can't
can't
just
get
what Ford
future
thinks
stuff.
the future is.
Everything.
It's what Ford thinks the future is.
Yeah, but you can't have any future tech or anything cool. Everything's gonna be shiny and sleek.
Oh my! What's that called in SpongeBob?
Future.
Yeah.
I forget.
Yeah, it's Future World.
I want to go back to Bernard quick because this is something that's been in
We're
my
on
head.
Bernard. We kind of just
we kind of
dived off at our theories.
Yeah. Well, back to him. This is something that's been really bugging me because this is when I thought Bernard was gonna get made, when he had to put his hand on the door for the DNA.
Oh, me too. I was just rewatching
How did he open
the episode.
the door?
No, it's
did the host let him in?
It's so the host can read the DNA and know not to attack them. It's not like are you human or are you dancer. It's just host. It's so that the drone host, first of all, great design too, right?
Freaked
How
me out,
freaky are
man.
those guys?
Sneaking up on
I'm
Bernard
trying to think
like
what that looks like. I can't
Mark Zuckerberg. Stiff, awkward, the way they walk. Mark Zuckerberg.
No,
you put a face painting of Mark Zuckerberg on one of those things. I guarantee you can't tell.
No, like the design. It kind of.
I know you thought
Star Wars or
kind of reminded me of Samus of a Halo.
Samurai Jack.
How is it Samurai Jack?
Like that kind of
no.
Looked like a cartoonish.
It did look a little cartoonish. When you have something that's just a blank face and they look like they can kick somebody's ass.
Yeah.
So they're very intimidating. Bernard was even freaked out a little bit, and he's a host himself. He's like, "Whoa, what is this? The new model?" A little jealous. But what do you guys think what we learned in that scene, the secret laboratory, that Delos was essentially storing the DNA of the park guests, so bodily fluid, eyelashes, cells. What do you think Delos? Because that's one thing that the internet hasn't been able to pinpoint. Like, are they making hosts that are clones of the guests that come to the park?
Or why they want the DNA?
Make it as realistic as possible, which I still don't get.
No, because Delos is beyond that. Delos doesn't care about making hosts that are real. They want to use the IP, the technology, for something more sinister.
They even said to make it more simple anyway.
Yeah, they hint that at the first episode. It's the conversation between Teresa and Lee Sizemore, where Sizemore is like, I'm assuming Delos wants to do something even bigger with this technology, that it's not just about making money and entertaining guests.
The thing about clones is, I mean, why do you need clones when you can just make a host and have it do what you want to do? Unless it's for if you want to like basically have like a human farm where you make clones of people and just harvest their organs and stuff. That's how
I was thinking it's like
that's how they help curing diseases and things like that.
Well, all diseases have been cured in this world.
Maybe that's how they're doing it. They're harvesting, fresh organs of people and just switching them out.
I don't know how you're making organs of people with eyelashes and piss.
I have no idea.
Well, I mean,
leave that to the nerds in the science room,
Is it something with the military? Do you think that they're trying to build super soldiers, essentially? Because the IP can't be used outside of the park. That's the whole thing with Peter Abernathy. And can we just talk about this for a second? Delos won't send in an extraction team until Abernathy is delivered. Why don't they just go get him? They have the perfect excuse to go in the park now with a military team and get him. Why are they like, oh, Charlotte, you have to deliver it to us before we save you?
It's kind of like in Rampage when she has to leave the space shuttle, and they won't let her leave without the tech to make
nobody listening has seen Rampage. The only two people that would get that reference are me and you.
It's kind of like an ongoing gag.
And if The Rock is listening.
Rampage references.
No, that was a gag for two episodes of. Well, that hasn't happened yet. So
oh yeah, true.
We're breaking the nerd soup Westworld. Wow. What time period are they in?
You guys get this joke in the next couple of weeks.
So what do you guys think that Delos is doing?
I kind of like what
nothing legal.
Yeah.
She even says it too, like we can't have that conversation even if we wanted to right now.
Yeah, Bernard is such a higher up, and even he didn't know about the laboratory, the drone hosts, the DNA. There's a lot of sinister things going on.
I thought Bernard was going to get made too with the MASH network, when I thought one of the hosts in there were going to catch on to him.
Oh, interconnect.
Yeah, and like he would pop up on the screen.
Well, this is a spoiler from the trailer. Charlotte does find out that Bernard is a host.
Well, it's in her trailer. It's not a spoiler if it's in her trailer.
But it's a very short moment. Like, you have to stop the trailer and pause it on that scene to even notice what's going on. But she finds 3 other Bernard models in cold storage. So I had an idea too that Carl Strand in the beginning, Ashley Stubbs, that whole security team, they know Bernard's a host. Because the way they're talking to him, they're like, you remember this, Bernard? Is this jogging your memory? How you doing there, buddy? Can we get inside your brain, take out your brain, see what you have recorded? Because I think they're manipulating him in that way.
That's interesting, too. Ashley Stubbs, though. He's back, man.
That's another thing. Wait
a minute. Oh, my God.
Teddy, you cracked the code?
No, I just thought of something.
You cracked the code?
Yeah, all right, yeah. So you know how you just said that there's other Bernards?
Yeah.
Maybe there's more than those 3, and maybe he just doesn't know what's going on, but he still has a memory of he can still sense what the other Bernards are doing.
They were very early prototypes, they weren't functional.
Yeah, they look like they haven't been functional. There could be more than one Bernard at play.
Maybe
with this show, anything is possible.
Like a Bizarro Bernard.
It's a good Seinfeld episode.
Yeah, I just watched it today. That's why I referenced it.
Yeah, but like I said before, I think Bernard, because I feel like the first season there was focus on Maeve, Dolores, Bernard, and Ford. I think this might be a very Bernard-centric season. He seems to have the most interesting storyline, and a lot of the story I feel like that it's going to be revealed throughout the season has to do with Bernard and what he knows and what he doesn't know and what he's still trying to figure out.
What's going on with Ghost Nation? When we see them basically saw off the head of one of the Ghost Nation members and look at the footage, why is Dolores now, she's not only killing people, she's killing hosts.
They're not up to snuff.
Well, that's what I'm saying. What is their motive? What is the Ghost Nation angle to this story? Do they have, whose side are they on if Dolores is trying to kill them now?
Yeah, I was just going to say that maybe Ghost Nation just is their own thing and they're playing their role.
My question is,
exactly.
Maybe she's eliminating all the hosts that are still in their loop that won't break it.
Yeah, the Ghost Nation, they helped Dolores and Teddy 30 years ago. I mean, Dolores and William. Remember the scene when they're basically running from the Confederados where they come off the train?
That was just more of
those guys just got away.
Happensense that they were in the same area, and that's
no, but Ghost Nation was intentionally helping them.
I'm saying they weren't helping. They just killed the Confederados, and Dolores and William
got away.
got away.
Yeah, but why are they killing Confederados and not going
Just
after
because they
William
got him
and Dolores?
first. They were behind him.
Maybe
I don't
that's-
think it's just with this show. I don't think there's just happenstance where things are just
guess.
happening because we were just here in the
It could just be the narrative, that they just fight each other.
Yeah, maybe that's just the enemy that they are.
But Ghost Nation is also Ashley Stubbs wasn't able to freeze their motor functions at the end of season 1. They were already beyond the current hosts that were locked in their narrative. So I don't think they're just locked in a loop if they're having trouble even controlling them. I think that says that there's something more going on with Ghost Nation. It could be something connected with Ford. And even in season 1, that's where the Man in Black starts to try and find the maze where he beheads one of the Native Americans and he's got the maze on his scalp. Again, we see that in season 2. It's a callback. So I don't know what role they're playing, but
No, it's interesting.
I like that narrative idea. Their narrative is to kill Confederados.
I feel like that's just a waste.
Occam's razor,
I think Dolores, like you said, like, why is she killing them? I think she just wants to get rid of everybody. I think it's her and Teddy that she wants to keep, and that's it.
If you're not with her, you're against us.
She needs a
Basically,
squad.
yeah.
Her and Teddy aren't going to take over the world.
Well, she doesn't see them as a threat, I guess, or anything to use. She's just taking them out, which was a sick scene, by the way.
To wrap
That was a
up,
very good scene.
To wrap up Bernard's, I just want to clarify all of his storylines that we see so far in the first episode. It's the present of him on the beach. It's the day after the shooting in the bunker with Hale.
Yes.
That is just Arnold. Yeah.
And then in between his flashbacks. That
And
gap.
I think there's going to be more vivid flash forwards for Bernard.
Well, I think it's like the brief flashbacks that we've got, or flash forwards, or whatever you want to call them. We're going to see those full scenes.
Okay,
but even when you look
All right.
at what Bernard
What are you
is...
talking about, like when they're in like the city?
No, I just mean in
Bernard
general. I
and
think
Dolores?
they're going to show us.
Well, in like the scenes to come, there's like Dolores and Bernard in human clothes. I think that could be like in the city. I think that might be actually a flashback to Arnold and, well, not Arnold, but because we do see William as well and Logan in that same kind of area, like a city atmosphere.
You think the city is just a park?
City world?
Yeah.
There could be a park.
Maybe that picture in
that
season
could
1.
be Future World, where if they did like a Blade Runner park.
Maybe that picture in season 1 of that girl. Who was that girl? The picture of?
No, that was just
it was
Williams.
the wife, right?
That was just Williams' wife.
Bernard knows about Arnold, correct?
Yes.
Like they know about each other. So just a quick little thing, maybe. Just I'll throw it out there. But because he said that I killed everybody, this is what I think. Bernard knows about Arnold, but Arnold made Dolores into Wyatt, correct?
Yeah.
So now he's saying that I killed everybody when I think that Wyatt was the one that was killing everybody and him taking the blame for making Wyatt. So maybe it is kind of like what you were saying. He's trying to cover up, but in his own sense, he does think it is his fault because he did create Wyatt.
That would only make sense if Dolores was able to somehow transfer her memories of her and Arnold to Bernard, because there's no way for him to remember that.
Well,
so that would,
like what you said before.
that could tie in together, maybe. I don't know. It's interesting to see. This show is definitely a lot of theories you can make just on one
I
episode
do think
alone.
Dolores is messing with his mind, though. And it all depends on if Dolores
making
has
him
that
more
power.
aware.
And back to your point, that would also, Bernard would have to accept that he's Arnold. He'd have to, kind of take that as himself.
Well, that's why I think
Instead
he's
of-
saying, I killed. I think he's starting to accept that. And when you see that he's having these malfunctions, that maybe eventually on he's going to have to fight within
It's
himself.
him trying to cross between Arnold and Bernard.
Yeah, like what Dolores was doing.
That's
She
why he
was
has to keep
freaking
redeeming
out.
himself.
Dolores was freaking out when she was trying to decide between her and Wyatt. I think maybe he's trying to have that same kind of thing where he's going to become Arnold, or he's fighting within himself. I don't know. You just never
'cause-
know about this show.
Especially with Bernard, too, because he seems to be on both sides of the fence, where he's still reeling from the fact that he's a host himself. So, but for his whole life, he's been the head of development. I think that's his title. I forget what it is. So whose side is he really going to be on? It's almost, and Maeve as well. We haven't spoken about Maeve, but Dolores is very much set in the Wyatt role at this point, where Maeve is very much, it's her personal motivation. She returned to the park to find her daughter. She's not about liberating the hosts. But maybe she takes on that role after she encounters Dolores and sees how violent she's become, where she's killing host and human. And Maeve is kind of that link or that bridge between the two worlds, where she brings them both together to stop Dolores. Or
It seems like only Maeve and Dolores have control over the host now. So I feel like you have to include Maeve into the story.
Maeve is significantly more powerful than Dolores.
Yeah.
Like, Maeve can stop hosts and just give them narratives without even saying word. When she saved Sizemore, she just kind of stopped the cannibal in his tracks and was like, "That you've had enough, darling. Take a break."
Yeah, Maeve is, I think, ahead of, I don't know about unconsciousness, because you could still debate what her,
I think she's conscious.
because at the end when Bernard tells her that someone implanted that narrative to her. to
Yeah, but
leave
the
park,
narrative was to leave.
Yeah.
And she
She broke it, yeah.
Yeah.
So And also, when they said that they were waiting on a package, I thought it might have been Maeve at first, because like maybe they inserted that narrative to her to leave the park, and she kind of just.
It's not a bad theory. But Abernathy.
But they say it's Abernathy, so they kind of 5 minutes later. So they ran in my parade pretty early. Maeve's an interesting character because in season 1, there's like the middle episodes when she first starts interacting with like Felix and what's the other guy's name?
I think it's Sylvester.
We couldn't figure it out last night either.
Yeah, I think it's Sylvester.
She kind of annoyed me, like where I didn't like her, but then later on I started to fucking love her. And rewatching the first season, she's just as big as a show than Dolores, but I feel like a lot of focus is on Dolores, when I think Maeve might actually be the key to everything in season 2. It may focus on Bernard, but I think Maeve might play the more important role, because like we said, she is more powerful as Dolores, and she might even become more human because she has that element with her daughter that she's coming back for a very human reason.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what Maeve does. I can't wait to see her with that shot where she's got the katana and she's in Shogun World. I feel like she's just going to have a tap dancing exhibition in Shogun World. That's going to be my favorite episode of the season. Calling it now.
And over under, could we get episodes on how long William lasts? Or if you think he's just going to last the whole season?
How good was that scene with him and young Ford?
Yeah.
I fucking loved it.
That was my favorite scene of the episode.
I was upset that he
me
shot
too.
him, because I would have loved like just young Ford just following him around, just like
I bet there's more of him.
at certain points, just trolling him.
Well, he told him, he's like, the game is going to find you, so it's, why do I need you anymore? The game is afoot. Unless he's like giving him hints, like in a video game when you're struggling at one point.
Yeah.
It's like, grab the lever, William. But the way they did that voiceover was so good. Just to hear hints of Anthony Hopkins' voice under the distortion. Ford was my favorite character from season 1. To see him trolling William once again, it was such a great scene.
Yeah, he got what he wished for too. They are fucking attacking him.
You think he's going to survive all season 2?
Yeah. I
Well,
think so.
what is his end game? Because a lot of people were disappointed, if not a disappointment, but a flaw. It's that William's motivations turned out to be a little underwhelming. I didn't feel that, but a lot of fans did. They're saying, "Oh, he's just a sicko. He just wants to play Westworld on hard mode. That was his whole objective."
Yeah, more of like a thrill. He was looking for a thrill.
Right. He's just like a junkie. He's like a thrill junkie that just wants to play a game.
Well, that's what they said that in the first season when Logan sees him again when they're up. I guess not sees him again, but after they're done traveling and he has him naked on the horse. He's like, what Westworld got to you.
Right, but what's his end game? Do you think he'll eventually just die, that it's too overwhelming for himself?
Well, that's what I thought he always wanted, to be honest. I thought that after Dolores, he became like heartbroken, and then it was kind of like Westworld was like a drug, that he needed to get that high again, and he just knew he could never get it. Now, if you see in episode 10, when he gets shot, his face like lights up.
Yeah.
He's like excited.
Yeah,
He's
he
like,
loves it.
Yeah, he loves that. So...
Well, it's an interesting point about that it's his drug, but now he has an objective, I guess, because he'll have to basically try and destroy all the hosts if they want to take over the world. He says in the trailer, he's like, I'm just going to burn this whole place down. And he also doesn't appear to be on Delos' side, even though he owns Delos. He owns everything, but he's not too concerned with Abernathy or getting the IP out of the park. I think he has underlings that are handling all of that under his nose without him really knowing.
Aaron, I was just gonna ask if you
I don't think
he
he's
knows about
behind Delos' sinister motives. He seems to just be very much an individual who wants to get a thrill.
Yeah,
But now it's like the park is fighting back, and he's like, oh, now I can shut this whole place down.
Do you think he cares, though? Do you think he actually cares that these robots are doing this?
No, you don't.
Like he's just happy that now he can fight against them?
It's kind of like where Ford was playing God. Like he wants to defeat God. Like he wants to prove himself as superior.
That could be that could be his narrative.
Yeah, just to try and basically
Win the
destroy
game.
Ford's legacy. Because they do seem to have a rivalry between them, even just
Yeah.
looking at that scene with him as young Ford. Yeah, I think that could be his endgame. But that's why I thought that he's just positioning himself as the hero of the story, because William said he always loved stories as a kid, and that's what Westworld gave him. He was allowed to immerse himself in the story, be the main character. But now he has a true enemy in his eyes with Dolores and all the hosts, so...
I may have missed this, but did William ever meet Ford in the first season? In the past, William.
They're at the saloon.
No, he's talking about.
Like I want to know how.
Justice
I want to know.
Simpson.
I feel like they should show us how William and Ford.
They are. There's
became.
William. There's the young.
Yeah,
William.
because there was flashbacks in the trailer of young William.
Yeah, he's going to be in
I'm
season 2.
very interested to see that too. The inner workings of Delos and what they're actually doing, especially right after William decides they give William the reins of Delos, because it was Logan's father, right, in charge, and
Yeah.
William tells him, like, well, I'm taking your spot.
Yeah.
Logan's father is in season 2.
So I'm very interested to see, like, what William does once he takes the reins and what, when that corporate influence on Westworld, how it changed it, what changes that William implemented and what he wanted to see. And
I guess
you find out more about their endgame, why they're taking a DNA. Maybe it's William's idea. Maybe he's doing something. Maybe he wants to create his own world. Who knows? Not you guys, apparently.
Well, he does seem to be pretty detached from Delos, even when Charlotte's there, and Charlotte's like, oh, we need you to come to the board meeting to vote out Ford. He's like, whatever, you have my vote. Get out of my fucking way. In season 1, he was very much like, he was our character that we could see the world through, where he was trying to find the maze. We're trying to figure out what the maze is. But now that Ford says the maze was never meant for you, now I have a game for you. And that's pretty good analogy, that he's just trying to defeat the god of this new world.
I like what you said, that he's just trying to play Westworld on, like, Hall of Fame. Like he's trying to...
A lot of people didn't like that about season 1, because at first he was so mysterious. What are his motivations? Does he want to live forever? Is he trying to cure his wife? What does he want with Westworld? And then it was just kind of like, I just want them to try and kill me.
Yeah, like...
Which I think is, not everything needs to be shrouded in mystery and great ambition. It could be something as simple as William is just a sicko.
Because I was always curious too, because he knows what Westworld is, and I couldn't figure out why he kept getting disappointed with it. Like you've been there for 30 years, like you know what it's about.
Right, well, that's the other thing. Like I understand he wants to find the maze. It's like, but you keep coming back. Like, don't you get bored of it?
Doesn't he wet his feet in like Shogun World or anything else?
Maybe, yeah.
He just keeps going back to
I'd
Westworld.
love to see the Man in Black in Shogun.
He just rips out his fucking sword and he's ready to go.
Maybe like Sanjuro, the movie. Yojimbo.
Yojimbo.
The guy with the fucking revolver.
Yeah.
He's just killing everybody with the swords.
I wonder how many crates William has around the park with his hat in it.
Oh, he's probably got so many backup crates.
It's like GTA. You have like all the houses around. You just go to your closet.
Yeah.
I know what you got.
Oh wait, so I tweeted about this, but since we're just talking about characters now, how disturbing was it that Sizemore got into Wool Commando?
Why are you so wrapped up on that?
That bothered me too. I was
Throw your boxers back on,
yeah,
guy.
Just take the boxers.
It made me
off
feel
and
so
then
uncomfortable.
put
And
them
Hale
back.
was running around no socks.
What are you thinking of the?
Yeah, if he's like that all of season 2, I really hope they go back and retcon that Sizemore's got underwear on. I do like that pairing too with Sizemore. He's such a little weasel.
It's a fun relationship
Oh my God, that
too.
was so
When he was
funny.
trying to sell her out, that was awesome too.
It's like any of them dressed like humans.
She caught him so quick too.
My biggest question
probably
is,
did.
what the hell happened with Ashley? He seemed to get kidnapped by Ghost Nation, and now in season 2 he's just back.
We'll find
And
out.
you think though? Yeah, that can't be left.
Ooh, Elsie saved him.
A lot of people have been speculating that Elsie is the one who's going to fix up Bernard. Because
You know
the
what's-
fact that he's malfunctioning.
You know what's interesting too? I was thinking maybe
Wait, Elsie.
Elsie Hughes.
because they say Bernard choked her, but maybe like there's a break where
She's
Bernard.
dead.
That's what I'm fucking saying,
Yeah,
Ted.
but there's never a body.
No.
Like maybe Bernard has a realization. Elsie. Maybe Bernard has a realization, like a moment of like, oh, this is Elsie. Like he kind of breaks his loop from Ford and that sequence and like keeps her alive. But then you can argue, why didn't he do that with Teresa? They were probably
Well,
closer.
Ford was in the room.
Yeah, I was just saying Ford was in the room. So
But that could also have been Ford just implanting that memory of Elsie, just to make sure that he keeps Elsie safe. Because
but
people have
Bernard never gets that memory.
No, I'm saying that Ford implants the memory to Bernard that he choked her out.
He never realizes that.
Oh, he never does?
No.
Well,
Yeah, he does.
No, he doesn't. And
Either
He
way.
does.
and Ford erases. Does he?
He goes back and sees it.
yeah. Well, Ford erases
That
his
was like the
memory,
fir-
and then he
that
gets
was
it
like the
back
first
like
thing.
the next day.
That was like the first thing you saw when he went back in time, was that he killed Elsie too.
Yeah, I think he sees it when he's going back and seeing all the things that he's done. But that's irrelevant.
I thought that
The
was-
Because he
point
finds
is,
out he lied to him because Ford said that he didn't have him do it again.
the question is,
Oh,
if Elsie is
okay,
still
yeah, yeah.
alive.
I think Teddy is right.
Wow. Good shit, Ted.
Wait, say that again.
Yeah, I want to hear it again. Can
Did I just lose my spot on the show?
you? He's out.
You're not doing a good job of taking his spot.
No, I know. I know.
It's like PTI. Got to take down your points. Never agree with another competitor. If Elsie is still
Around
alive,
the horn.
whose side is? Yeah, around the horn. Oh, Teddy's right again. Jesus Christ. I think you run the show now. You're CEO.
That makes you king, right?
If Elsie is still alive, whose side is she going to be on?
She's
Because-
always been sympathetic towards the host. You see her when.
Yeah.
And she's got the
Yeah.
relationship with Bernard too. She
What?
saw Bernard as a mentor.
No, she was more towards doing the right thing, not the host.
Well, she was.
No, she was more of what the fuck is Delos
Yeah.
trying to do? with our IP.
Yeah, exactly. I think
But like
she's
compared to like Ashley was always contentious towards them, and I feel like Elsie was more relaxed. She even kisses Clementine. I'm shipping them.
I talked about how Bernard, the Man in Black, we basically were trying to find the maze with him. Elsie was like the only human character where she was just thrown off by everything that was going on.
Yeah,
She's like, is this normal?
Yeah. And we also see, I think in the previously on Westworld, before the episode played, they show that, was it a turtle shell with the markings on it again? So that may come up. I don't know what that is. Could that be maybe a code or?
Oh, you mean
yeah, she thinks it's Orion at first, and
right?
Like,
yeah.
No,
well, that was just
no dummy. Orion has 3 things.
That was how they contacted the satellite.
Or Bernard says that.
Yeah, there might be more of that too. Well, I'm thinking
so
that
why they showed it again. Maybe it's
right. It's Delos essentially, just floating around, waiting to send in helicopters. I'm thinking that.
Well, what's the marking mean?
Coordinates for the satellite.
Do you think so?
That's what Teresa was doing. That's what that host was doing.
Oh, that's debatable.
Do you guys think Ford's coming back?
Who?
Do you guys think Ford is coming back?
Like actual Ford, replicant Ford, or because I know that's pretty much not a theory that it was a replicant. That
Well, they flipped
It
his
could be, man. Maggot. They have every fucking animal in there.
but
Fake.
maggots would only eat organic matter. I feel like.
I'm saying they have every other animal in there that's fake.
But why are maggots? Are the maggots real in Westworld? I thought it was only
Exactly.
the flies that were real. That's what it says on their official website.
Ford's coming back.
But the only thing that's alive besides the guests are the flies. I think I'd rather him be dead.
No, I want him back.
Just now.
I want him back.
What do you think, Nash? Would you want to see Ford return?
Yes, I actually think that he should return. Yeah, he was like one of my favorite characters in season 1.
Hopkins is just
he's the
want him
man.
there. Yeah,
He's the man.
I think I always go back to the line where he's like, an old friend once told me that Beethoven, Mozart, and Chopin never died; they just became music. So I like the fact that he died and he's living through the rebellion that he sparked.
I mean, it's his story essentially.
Yeah.
That's what I think. This is all of his story, his last story.
Yeah, this is
his song.
Everybody in season 1 was
essentially.
like, "Oh, what's Ford's new narrative?" It's season 2,
Yeah.
and 3, and 4, and 5,
Yeah, the
However-
final story.
However long they want to milk this thing.
and
out
then
for.
season 6, the Game of Thrones crossover. You know,
Ooh.
it's all part of
Ironically
this-
enough,
my
the
God,
final
the next
story
world.
is trying to take out everybody.
yeah,
Everybody going against each other, killing everybody, and then, ironically enough, the final story.
Journey into Night.
Yeah, so I'm very interested in what's going to happen later on in this season. Like I said before, the scenes from the next episodes look absolutely incredible. I thought it was a nice, solid first episode, but Bo, you're going to be doing a preview for episode 2 later this week?
Yeah, episode 2. I don't know what it's called. I forgot. I looked it up earlier. Didn't remember. Hopefully it's a Shogun World episode. I don't think it is. I think that's episode 3. But yeah, I thought this was better than the first episode of season 1.
I disagree. I like the setup.
I agree with Bo. I'm excited to see what's to come.
Yeah, of course you do, Ted. You're not getting on the Game of Thrones reviews. Stop kissing up.
I'll get up there.
I'll get up there.
All right, Nash, any sign off?
Just want to say thanks for having me. That's
Love it.
basically it.
See,
Glad to
it's
be
fun.
here.
Yeah.
Glad to be here.
Nash's first video.
Wow. Can't believe it. All right.
Am I on a video or am I on
Well,
No, it's a
podcast.
podcast? Yeah, okay. 'Cause I
Okay.
thought
Yeah.
maybe I get my own like cartoon character.
No, no,
Am
no,
I?
no, no,
It's
no.
a lot of animation and it's
All right,
not enough time.
Just
Teddy,
simple.
stop doing that,
Just you can
please.
make me like.
What'd you say?
You could just make me into something simple.
No,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Okay,
I thought you
yeah.
said a turtle because I was like,
Yeah,
we
we
have
have one of
it.
those. Do we though? He hasn't
two
showed up. in a
turtles.
while.
turtle.
Turtle hasn't showed up in work in like 5 months.
Well, he's working on stuff. It's
Okay.
hard to get him out of his
He's
shell.
really slow.
That's just going to make the same joke. I knew I liked this
And
kid.
Nash
You're
just
welcome
got
back.
himself an animated character.
Taking a turtle.
All right, let's get out of here, guys. Let's lock Bo back in his room so he can finish the videos, and we'll open it up. We'll drop off some food later.
Oh, thanks.
No problem. No water, though.
Oh.
You have enough.